Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the 5th season, the first book in the Broken Oath trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. So after finishing A Song of Ice and Fire a few months ago, I was like, I want to read more fantasy, but I don't want to get into a huge series like the Sanderson ones, or the Wheel of Time, or the Lord of the Rings. But I've thought about the 5th season in, the trilogy, and it's a pretty short book, so I thought, I might as well get into these. So it's set in this world with origins who are very powerful. I guess they're kind of sorcerers who control energy and they could cause earthquakes and they could change the temperature. But they're very dangerous, which is why they're hated by society. They're kind of the outcasts of society, kind of like an X-Men thing, with the mutants. So we we meet this origin in the beginning of the book who's like, man, nobody likes the origins. Fuck it. I'm just gonna like create a I'm just gonna create this thing where like it fractures the whole continent and I'm gonna turn the world into like this nightmare universe, so the 5th season, that's what it is. So we follow three characters, Esun, Demaya, and Cyanite, and they're actually like one person from different timelines, which I kind of saw coming. Well, I kind of saw coming a little bit, but it still was kind of a nice surprise. I saw it coming because the same thing happened in Westworld. I'm not exactly sure which one came first. Uh, Probably the 5th season did. So yeah, it was cool. It was a nice twist. I'm proud of myself for seeing it coming, but nice twist nonetheless. Good job, N.K. Jemisin. So Asun's the oldest of the lady. I guess her real name's Demaya, technically. So she is she's kind of in her 40s, I'm assuming, and she has two kids and a husband, and everything's nice. And then she finds out that her children are also origins, and her husband doesn't like that, so he beats his son to death. He fucking murders his own son. Disgusting shit, by the way. Hopefully nobody ever does that. Uh, so yeah, he killed the son. He kidnapped the daughter, and they ran away. And she like she sent this massive earthquake from the prologue, and she kind of like shunts it around the calm, which saves it from destruction. She saves the calm from destruction, but everybody's like, "Oh shit, there was a origin. Let's kill her." You know, like mutants. Origins are not liked. I think Jemison does a really good job of like exploring Esun's grief of losing her son, but also kind of hope for like revenge and the save her daughter. It's a nice balance, between grief and hope and rage. So, everybody's like, oh shit, the 5th season's happening and Esun is the origin, so let's kill her. So they get into this angry mob, they get some pitchforks, they get some cotton candy, they they go to kill her, but she's like, nope, nope, bitches. She kills all of them by like draining the heat from their bodies and freezes them, like an ice sculpture. It's crazy. And she runs away and tries to find her husband and daughter. So it seems like Esun, I mean, I'm kind of on her side because they were trying to kill her, but this shows that she's not afraid to cut a bitch, to quote Wayne Brady. So while she's on the run, she meets this little boy named Hoa, who's a mysterious boy who has like this white skin and white hair, and he becomes following her. Now not exactly sure how white his skin is. I'm kind of like in my mind I was picturing the cold miser, so possibly something like that. We don't know. and he eats rocks, which makes him very charming because you don't have to spend money on him. Now, Asun thinks he's a stone eater, but like she's never seen one before, and she thinks they're extinct. So she doesn't know if he's a stone eater or not. And she meets Tonki, who's kind of a, I don't know. She doesn't really have a home, and the three of them journey south, and pretty it's pretty messed up wasteland because of the crazy earthquake the guy did in the prologue. And they arrive at a calm called Castrima, which is a huge underground geode. So Esun finds out that Alabaster's been waiting for her. Who is Alabaster? I'll talk about him later. Um, he was somebody that she knew when she was Cyanite, but I'll talk about this whole Cyanite plotline later. And we found out that Alabaster's been living um, at the north, and he was the guy from the beginning of the book who did that huge earthquake that broke the planet in half or whatever. And he's like, I don't know, he started the 5th season, he's gonna kill everybody, and he's like, but, you know, I had to end the 5th seasons. And then he's like, have you heard of a moon? And then the book ends. So, yeah, I don't know. Asun had a cool plot. You know, I think the twist was okay. I think it was a good twist. You know, I saw it coming, but that's only because I saw Westworld where a similar thing happened. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. So, the youngest version of Asun is the Maya, who just has a normal life until she finds out that she's an origin. And instead of killing her, like Asun's husband does to Asun's kids, they send her off to this like boarding school, and they get Scafa, who's a guardian, to bring her to the boarding school. And the guardians are like this. They're these people with magic powers who help the origins, and they control the origins, even kill the origins if things get too crazy. And the Fulcrum is the boarding school that they go to train the abilities and stuff. So if you're an origin, you either A, get killed, or B, get trained and then help society, but still get hated by society. But while they're traveling, Scafa, like, they start training, and he breaks her hand, which has her, like, try to control her powers, even while she's in pain and has a broken hand. And he's like, you know, man, I'm not here to protect you. I'm here to protect the planet from you. And she passes the test. She doesn't do anything crazy. So he's like, okay, I'm not gonna kill you. So a few years pass, and we see this like woman who isn't an origin sneak into the school, and she's like, I just want to see what's going on here, you know. So the Maya helps her because he's kind of the only one who notices her, and they're like about to get killed by the Sarlacc pit. And she's found out by the Guardians, and the Guardians are trying to kill her. But Scarfa's like, nah, 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 don't kill her. She's cool, you know? But you gotta take the ring test. And if you pass the ring test, then, you know, we'll let you live. And she passes the test, and she's inducted into the Fulcrum, and she's chooses her new name, which is Cyanate. Wait a minute, guys. I know that name. That's the other character. Holy shit. So, Cyanate is, I'm guessing, maybe like in her 20s, you know? So C is forced to be, making a baby with this man named Alabaster. And they're trying to conceive a child, but they both hate each other. Well, it's not, they don't really like hate each other. It's kind of like a, I don't know. it's it feels like half the time they're just teasing each other. They'll just kind of like, I don't know, the frenemies. You know, they wouldn't want to date each other, but here we are. And they're traveling to the countryside, and Alabaster's like, oh, there's these huge obelisks that used to float in the sky, and they were from long time ago. So they stop at this node station, and like all the origins who work here have to like stop these small earthquakes from turning into bigger earthquakes. And he's like, oh yeah, these guys, they've been like lobotomized, cuckoo's nest style, and pretty much beaten and violated to help them like with the earthquakes. But they're also like, very messed up and suffering. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, that's my son, and that's my son, and that's my son, and that's my daughter, and that's my son. And Cyanite's like, what the fuck? So they arrive to this city next to a beach, and there's this huge reef blocking the harbor. So they have to move the reef with their origin stuff. And Alabaster almost gets assassinated. So Cyanite has to clean it by herself. And she finds out that it's not a huge, like, reef. It's a obelisk. And it like kind of like senses her presence and rises out of the water. And the Fulcrum's like, ooh, I don't know about this. Let's kill them. So they send a guardian to kill them, and the guardian's able to wound Alabaster but not kill him. And they're about to kill Cyanite before she reaches to the obelisk and destroys the entire town when they touch. And Cyanite passes out. So Cyanite wakes up a few days later, and she's been rescued by Alabaster and Antimony, and they meet the leader, whose name is Inan. He's like an untrained origin who lives in society and hasn't been killed yet. And they're accepted there, and they get into this weird three-way relationship with Inan. I don't know how I feel about three-way relationships. I don't know how healthy those are, but they make it work. And Cyanite gets pregnant, and she raises them for a few years. So this doesn't last long, and they're discovered by the Fulcrum, and a bunch of Guardians come to kill them / abduct them. Alabaster's abducted by the Stone Eaters, and Inan is killed very tragically, and Scafa takes the child, and she kills the child because she doesn't want it to suffer or be lobotomized or, go through a bunch of pain. So they kind of give her like a mercy killie, and Cyanite gets power from the obelisk and destroys the ship and kills like all of the Guardians and a bunch of innocent bystanders. Yeah, very violent. I see, as soon when she does all these violent acts, it's clearly not the first time. So, yeah. So that was the book. I know I talked about it in a weird order, but I felt like it's better than to just keep like jumping back between the 3 timelines. So, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. I give it a B. It's not like the greatest thing that's ever come to literature, but it's a fairly enjoyable book. N.K. Jemisin's very good at writing characters. They make me like, she makes me care about Esun and all 3 of her ages. The one line that tipped me off though was like, you've been living as different people your whole life. And I'm like, huh, okay, that's probably it. I like how Esun's chapters are narrated in the second person. I don't think it ever gets like revealed who the second person is, who's like narrating it. to us, because we as the reader real Essun. So who's talking to us, and why are they telling us stuff we already know? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, hopefully. It's a very strange writing style, but I think it's effective. I like it. I don't know what's going to happen in book 2, because I haven't read it. I for one really want to see some more scenes of Alabaster, how he, what happened to him in between the times of Cyanide and the times of Essun. I think that'd be kind of cool. So yeah, I'll probably be reading that one next week. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was a solid book. Um, yeah, let me know what you thought of it. And I'll see you guys next week. We'll be talking about A Study in Scarlet by Arthur Conan Doyle, the first of the Sherlock Holmes books. See you guys.